really, no one really cared because it was Black Swan and they were just like, what? Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel in miraculously the same outfit I'm wearing that I wore last week for the video. Ooh. Mysteriously, where I announced my book. Go pre-order my book. Hey! So now let's just get into a really fun topic that I've been wanting to do for a while. Ever since I kind of found some new photos on iCloud floating around. I mean, does that happen to anybody else? It happens to me quite often for some reason. iCloud likes to upload and take stuff away from my computer that I don't really want to be done like that. I don't know, iCloud's weird. But anyways, I thought it'd be fun to revisit some of my old cosplays from back in the day. And when people say, you know, like, let's go revisit old cosplays, most people are like, let's go back to 2005. And I'm like, I didn't start cosplaying until 2012 and it's 2020. So I would say I started making costumes for myself that wasn't Halloween, probably around 2011, which for me is the last year I was in college. And so I know a lot of you guys out there started cosplaying in like the aughts, and I like commend you. I wish I did. I didn't even find out what Comic-Con was till I was a senior in high school, and that was 2007. Yeah. So anyways, let's get through some of my costumes. Now, disclaimer, when I started cosplaying, I was already very knee-deep into sewing knowledge. I was creating costumes for my local theater stock. I took a lot of theater classes, local college theater stock for that matter. I took a lot of classes in college to know how to sew, as well working as a tailor's apprentice. So I did have a good amount of sewing already in my noggin. I wasn't really starting out with very step one. So when you see these outfits, you will kind of see, I mean, they're not bad. Like some of them we'll go over, they're really not bad, but some of them are a little rough. We'll just detail more into that. But I just want to give that disclaimer that everybody starts different in every different way of cosplay. Some people start out master level, some people start at like the noob level. So let's just get into this and see some of my old stuff, just for that disclaimer at the beginning. Okay, so the first outfit we're looking at here is, I think, one of the first photos I even uploaded to my Facebook page, and that was a costume I made in 2011. It was Black Swan. I think I was really into ballet at that point. I was taking a lot of adult ballet classes and I was just super into it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be Black Swan for Halloween. Like, yeah. And it's not bad. It's not bad. I think this was my first time working with clay, like oven-baked clay Sculpey, because I think that's what the crown is made out of, and a bunch of gemstones stuck on it. But I think I just borrowed my sister's leotard and stuck a bunch of feathers to it and made a tutu, which I was impressed with. Making tutus is not easy. If anyone's ever made a tutu, comment below and tell me like how many slices kind of like around here you got with like the rough edge of that tool. It sucks. But I did work in many years later at the Louisville Ballet making tutus professionally and got a lot better at it. So this one, I think by the end of the night, because I did wear this for Halloween, it was sinking a little bit because I went to a big Halloween party with my friends and I had a great time, but really no one really cared because it was Black Swan and they were just like, what? Okay, so the next one, I call this my official first cosplay, but I didn't wear this to a convention. I wore this to the midnight premiere of Phantom Menace in 3D. Do you guys remember that? It was like in 2011, I think, when it was like the huge 3D craze was happening. I dressed up as Darth Maul, as one does. This is my first Star Wars costume, y'all. Seriously. Many of you know me for my Padme or my Ahsoka. Darth Maul was my first. I have an affinity for Darth Maul. But this is not a bad costume. I remember making this and it was really fun to wear because I wore it to the midnight premiere and people were so excited to see Darth Maul, and then the minute I spoke they were so freaked out because they just had no idea I was a girl And that was probably one of the highlights of the night, was freaking people out with my costume. But it ended up selling, actually most of these costumes I don't think I have anymore, I think except like a couple. I ended up selling this one online, but it was a lot of fun. It was very hot because I think I made that cloak out of canvas. Okay, this one I'm tooting my own horn a little bit. It's not a cosplay, but it's my dress that I wore for my senior thesis show when I graduated college. It was during the time of the Will and Kate hype, and of course their wedding. I think I made this after their wedding. I can't remember. However, I loved, this was her engagement dress that she wore for the official engagement, like, hey everybody, we're married, or we're engaged kind of thing. I found a pattern and then I just kind of did my thing, what I thought it looked like, and honestly, that's one of my favorite dresses I've ever made. It looked so good. And I think that's stretch satin and I was sweating like a ton. Moving on. Okay, so this is officially my first cosplay to a convention. This was Katana from Mortal Kombat 3. And my friends Tosh and Lauren, who are Jade and Melina respectively, wore this to Derby City Comic Con 2012, I think. That was my first con. I had an absolute freaking blast. I made all of their costumes. My first cosplay was ×3. And it was just a blast. I'm trying to remember if I wore tights. I think I'm wearing, I don't know if I'm wearing hose, y'all. Like, cardinal rule number 1. What was I thinking? But that shot is pretty amazing. But like, okay, this one where I'm kind of like this is also gonna be a look into Amanda's cosplay posing problems from back in the day. The pose I'm making with this Thor guy here and the captain, that doesn't make any sense. I would never do that now. But people were really excited about us. I mean, we looked awesome. We rocked that con. I mean, and another weird pose that I was doing, but I was really working my fans, man. And like, anytime somebody came up and asked for a picture, we would just surround them and just be like, yeah, it was such an empowering feeling. I love being Katana. Oh, and this is when we won 2nd place at, I'm wearing tights. Oh, because I remember I redid our boot socks. Yeah, because I'd stuck them to tights. So, mystery solved, I was not wearing tights. But this was at Cincinnati Comic Expo later that same year. We won 2nd place. I think we won $250. Yeah, I love it. And we split it between 4 ways. We had a good time. Oh, and that's my friend Abby as Sindel. She looked awesome. We rocked that con. We looked so much like those characters. I can't even. All right, moving on. All right, so the next one is my Ariel cosplay with a really tough wig. I don't know what I was doing. This is me at Disney World. I wore this to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Just looking fabulous. Oh, I think I tried to attempt to put red in my eyebrows and that didn't really work out either. But you know what? This outfit was awesome. And looking at it now, it's really not that good. Because I ended up dyeing that shirt that I was wearing. I made the shirt, but I dyed it in separate pieces and my dye was off at the time, and one of those sleeves is definitely a different color than the other. And also this is my first time making a corset, and I thought I was the coolest because the center back is a zipper. Which makes I cannot wear that now, but I thought I was so cool because I put a zipper in my corset. Looking back on it now, probably not the best decision. The next one I have is my Arwen. I remember this was so cool. I wore this to another movie premiere. I think it was for The Hobbit. And Black Velvet Man, first time working with that, and a lot of brocade and trim. But I think it looked really good. This was like her blood red dress? I can't remember, from Return of the King? I don't know. Lord Order fans, tell me below which one this was from. I'm not too sure, but I wore it to the movie premiere. And yeah, that was my own hair and not my ears. Oh, okay. This one has this very like little thing in my heart. This is Rose's boarding gown from the Titanic movie. And this was so freaking hard to make. I remember I remember trying to be as close to historical as I could, and from a person putting a zipper in a corset, y'all know how historical I can be. I tried my hardest. All those little painted flowers were hand painted by me. It's all on satin, and I think that's silk velvet, but it's a really pretty gown. And I remember I made the skirt so small that it was like a little bitty hobble skirt. I could only walk very, very small steps, but I also wore that to, I think, the Titanic 3D release back in the day, if you guys remember that one too. Damn, so many 3D re-releases. I'm really happy they don't do this anymore. But I remember this was one of my self-photo shoots, one of my first photo shoots I ever did for me. That was really cool. This is upstairs at the current place I live, so go me and my timer on my DSLR. I still have this gown. I think I will, most of these actually, no, I don't have. I do have the Ariel one, and I do have this one still. I probably will be selling them soon. So if you are very interested in one of those two, hit me up. We can work out something before I put it on sale. So yeah, Rose boarding gown. So, no, it's not a boarding gown. I'm so sorry. It's her flying dress. I'm making the boarding gown next. Oh, here we go. This is one of my treasured ones. This one I will never sell because in my opinion, it was my first favorite cosplay that I ever made that I will keep, along with that Katana one. But the Katana one's fine, but this one, I worked really hard on this Merida. This is me at C2E2. This is 2013, I think. So this is only 7 years ago. The wig is a bit wrong. I think my makeup, I decided to wear a bright pink clip. I don't know about that. But yeah, and the bow is not good. I will come out and say that the bow is awful. Really bad. But I did get pretty close to her color. I tried to do the one in the Disney parks, and if you guys are familiar with my channel, I actually have a whole video tutorial on how I made this in her cape, way back yonder in my YouTube uploads if you guys want to go see how I did it. But it was really fun to make. It was really super hot. I remember, because it's velvet, it's just hot, and plus that wig is really hot, but I looked awesome. Oh, and this picture is me and my BFF Amanda. She dressed up as Giselle from Enchanted. I think we did a collab on that dress. So we made that dress for her as well. We had so much fun. That was my first C2E2. So this one is actually me and my friend Abby at San Diego Comic-Con 2013 that year. And I am dressing in what I think is one of the weirdest cosplays I've ever made. It's so weird. It's a fan art. No, it's not. It's not a fan art. I think it's in one of the episodes of Adventure Time. But anyways, it's Princess Bubblegum in a ball gown that she wears in the show. I don't remember much about this, but I remember finding, I think, a fan art about it, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make this, and it just did not work out the way I wanted, because that poof around my center is all filled with polyfill, and it was really heavy. And I remember we had to ship it instead of put it in my luggage out to California, and that was a stupid expense that I don't know why I did that for, but you do things for cosplay. And my wig, I don't know what's going on with my wig, and I decided to only paint my face instead of my hands. I don't know. It's not my favorite, I will say. I do not care for that outfit. I still have it. If anybody wants it, I'll probably give it to you, but the strawberries are gone. Those got lost in transit. I mean, it was fun being Princess Bubblegum, but if you're Princess Bubblegum, you gotta commit. You gotta commit, guys. So that's one of my least favorite outfits I've made, but it went to San Diego Comic-Con, so that's something. And my friend Abby, who was Lumpy Space Princess as well. Oh, yes, and here was the hipster Ariel days. You guys remember those? Tracy Hines and everything. Hey, Tracy, what's up? I think I ran into her wearing this outfit. Met her. Really, really nice chick. Really nice chick, but that's also at San Diego Comic-Con, and a really cool Reddit cosplayer, and Abby as well, and steampunk outfit. Okay, so this is another one of my really confusing ones. I did some deep cut ones back in the day. I am getting parched. Hold on. Momento. Okay, so this is Weird Girl from the movie Frankenweenie, and it's a stop motion animation by Tim Burton. I love this movie. I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. and I really wanted to do Weird Girl. However, I don't know if I really nailed this one. It's sort of weird because this apparatus that's on my face is like goggles that I made, and it's just foam and chicken wire on the inside that are sprayed, or it's just some kind of mesh. Oh, I think it's like cross-stitching mesh. I don't know if it worked or not. I think it works to a point. All of those flowers are pipe cleaners that were very poorly stitched on, and my favorite part of this whole outfit is the little cat that I gutted. It was like an animatronic cat. And then I put if you guys have ever seen the movie, she has this like poop that her cat like reads the future if it poops a thing, and I had to walk around with like cat poop in the cat. It was weird. But anyways, it was Weird Girl, and some people dug it at San Diego Comic-Con. Some were just like, what? But I'm still like, what? I also still have this costume because I just can't sell it because it's a weird one. It's a really weird one. The next one is another one of my favorites that I did that I no longer have. It's Mara Jade Skywalker, for those Star Wars people and fans from the old expanded universe of Star Wars. I did this outfit 2013, 2014, and yeah, it was my first lady Star Wars character, weirdly. I didn't do Leia or Padme first, I did Mara Jade. I just deep cutted the whole time, man. But it worked out. I think she looked great. That was my first time working with leather. Oh, I remember. I hated it after this because I could never find a glue that would stick to anything, and so I had to rivet everything together, which was a pain in the katukas. But she worked out. Ended up selling it. I don't think I have it anymore, and I think it's just like a sheet that I draped over my shoulders and I pinned to me with safety pins. Okay, so this is another one that's close to my heart. It was my first big prop build. It was my Daenerys Targaryen from 2014. We're in 2014. I promise I don't have too much more, but there's just a bunch of them that a lot of people do not know that I did, and I wanted to show this one off because that freaking dragon was my first prop that sat on my shoulder through hours and hours of conventions, and I still love that prop, still have it. It's also one of the worst build props I've ever done. I didn't, for some reason, I made it all out of craft foam and chicken wire and upholstery foam, so the structure of it's not bad. It's just I never sealed the foam before I painted it, and so the paint just falls off. And so for the longest time I had to walk around with like a black Sharpie and like touch up spots because I didn't know how to seal foam in 2014. You live, you learn. But still, I could also move his mouth. Still one of my favorite cosplays I've ever made and ever done, and hopefully I can do more Daenerys cosplays, but I have his head sitting literally like on my shelf over here. Okay, so this one is one of my bunny suit cosplays that I've only done 2 of, and if you know me, I hate bunny suit cosplays. I think the only way, I just don't like I don't like making them. They don't look right on me. I don't have the proportions for that. But back in the day I did, sure. This was one of my first cosplay groups I did, and it was the first time I met my friends April and Ashley, and we were the DC bunnies with our friend Ty. And he was Hugh Hefner Joker, and that was for C2E2 and a couple other Comic Cons back then. But man, making this was awful, and just wearing it sucked. I'm just not a fan of it, but it is cute. But this picture, I clearly did too much Photoshop on my stomach because there's a line that's bent, and like my underwear is sticking out right there. What was I thinking? But the pose is cute. Pose is super cute. Oh well, moving past it. All right, so this is the last one I'm gonna share with you guys, and this is one of my first photo shoots I did with Alex, and it was back in the day when Alex used to put her whole logo on half of the picture. Stares into camera. This is my Sith Elsa, and honestly, it's probably my first, I don't wanna say viral, but my first well-known one, this one in Daenerys. I did this in 2014, and it was off of a fan art that I found on DeviantArt, whom I tried to get permission from, and later on down the line, when maybe 2 years later or a year later, he messaged me and was really upset with me that I did it, and ever since then I don't do fan art. But it turns out that my pictures, the more people searched for Sith Elsa or Jedi variants of princesses, my picture kept popping up more than his art, and I think it offended him. And I felt really bad. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have done it, but it looks damn cool. I really liked it. Also, this is one of my first internet troll pictures, because I had so many people just come into my DMs saying she's not Sith Elsa, where's her red lightsaber and her red eyes and all this stuff, and I'm like, all I have was a blue one, sorry, Photoshop it if you care that much. It was that first one. Every cosplayer has one of those cosplays that you're just like, oh yeah, it's the one that the internet wants to say stuff on. Just so stupid. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Leave the cosplay how it is. We're not here to cosplay for you, we're cosplaying for us. But yes, that was one of my first shoots with Alex, and it was so much fun, and I just reminisce about that one. That and my Megara shoot, that was also really fun, because she decided to just stand on ice on a pond with a light, trying to shoot, because I was on a cliff and she was down here, so she was shooting up and I was looking down as my Megara shoot, and she could have fell through the ice, she could have died. And I remember this was one of our first encounters together, and I was like, this woman is nuts and I love her so. And ever since then, we're still working together, so something must have clicked, right? All right, guys, that's it for this week's video. Thanks for sticking around for this fun, light video. I'm still working on Naja right now. I am currently waiting on fabric to get here, but since this video will post a couple weeks after I'm actually filming it, I'm probably knee deep into her right now. If you would like some behind the scenes and whip photos on Naja, make sure to follow my Instagram, link in the description below. Like I say every week, if you like cosplay and you like sewing and cosplay related things, please sub to my channel and like this video. And I will see you all next week. Bye!